Alright, so in this unit we're going to be talking a lot about solving equations, and there's different types of equations. And in this particular video we're going to be talking about quadratic equations, but we're not going to be talking about quadratic equations, but we're talking about how we're going to solve them. And we're going to be solving them by factoring. Um, Simply put, before we begin, just remember that a quadratic equation has the form ax squared plus bx plus c, which equals 0. The key thing here is the largest exponent is 2, which means there's two possible solutions. It doesn't have to be two solutions. There could be one, there could be 0. But there's two possible solutions. So let's take a look at this trinomial for starters. I have x squared minus 4x minus 12. Well, I know that has, and I make my two sets of parentheses. I'm going to put in x and x. I need two numbers to multiply to 12 and add or subtract to 4. So I'm going to use 2 and 6. 1 and 12 don't give me 4. 3 and 4 won't give me 4. But 2 and 6 can. Since this is negative, my larger number has to be negative, and this has to be positive. If I get rid of this equals 0, all I've done is I've factored this trinomial. And this is kind of a key point. A lot of people, when they're asked to factor, they'll try solving it. You only solve when it's equal to 0. So now I have two terms that are being multiplied together. And if you recall, if I had a times b equals to 0, it doesn't matter what a is if b equals 0. Because if b equals 0, a times 0 equals 0. And if a equals 0, then it doesn't matter what b is, because 0 times b will equal 0. So I'm going to say that x plus 2 equals 0, or x minus 6 equals 0. And when I do that, I subtract 2 from both sides. I add 6 to both sides. I'm going to do both equations simultaneously. I get x equals a negative 2, or x equals a positive 6. Now, if you want, you can check that out. You can plug these back in. Negative 2 squared is 4. Negative 4 times a negative 2 is a positive 8. 4 plus 8 is 12. Minus 12 equals 0. That'd be 36 minus 24, which is 12, minus 12 also equals 0. So those two solutions both work. Here, it's a little bit different. You'll notice that it's not set equal to 0. So the first thing you need to do is make it equal 0. So I'm going to move all my terms to the left-hand side, and I subtracted the 15 on over. And now I have a trinomial, and it has to be 2x and x. Now, I'm not 100% sure because I have the 15 and the 7. I do this a little bit differently. I'm actually going to erase this whole side over here. I have a peculiar way of factoring, which some people like and some people don't. I'm just going to show it to you real quick. If I have 2x squared plus 7x minus 15, this is my a, this is my b, and this is my c. What I do is I multiply a times c and I'll get 30. I mean, the sign doesn't really make a difference. And then what I do is I put in 2x and 2x. I know what you're saying, 2x times 2x is 4x squared, and I don't want 4x squared. So what I'm actually doing is putting in 2x extra. Now I write down my factors as 30. And I notice that 3 and 10 will get me 7. So I put my 3, I put in my 10. 7's bigger, so that becomes positive, that becomes negative. And now I'm going to factor out 2 from this binomial. And when I do that, I'm left with 2x minus 3. And now I have x plus 5. Well, you might say, what happened to that 2? It kind of goes away, but the reason why is because in the very beginning, I put in 2 too much. So it's going to be minus 3 and x plus 5 equal to 0. Now I set both sides equal to 0. And when I do that, I get 2x equals 3, divide by 2. I get x equals 3 halves, or x is equal to a negative 5. And that's it. Those are my two solutions. And that's video number 1.